You're listening to the VTZone.com's weekly Scoutcast. Everything Hokies. And now here's publisher Jason Stamm.
Welcome to another edition of the VTZone.com's Scoutcast. I am publisher Jason Stamm. We took a little hiatus last week. You know, just a little busy. The family and I traveled back to Kentucky for a couple of days, so wasn't able to squeeze one in. So we got a lot to catch up on, guys. My main man, Doug Bowman, is back. Doug, how's everything coming? I hear you're on your way back, I guess, to Rich Vegas, but how's the drive? How's everything else going?
It's going well, not too much traffic right now. We just got out of D.C., so we're hoping to avoid the traffic at all costs.
All right, we're going to come back to this before we get going, but Derrick Hopkins, how's everything with you? You are in Rich Vegas. How's everything going?
I'm doing good. I'm just chilling watching this Cavs-Warriors game. It's not really a game. The Warriors are beating them by like 50, but I'm doing pretty good.
So, now, Skip, you and I, we already know, but we haven't really heard the full details. So, Doug, we hear you were at a Fetty Wap concert here on Sunday
Fetty Wap.
So, give us the beats, man. I hear it wasn't as good. Sounds like you were a little disappointed.
Yeah, it was a little disappointing, Fetty, comes on stage at 1 in the morning. It's a little late. Doesn't play that long. He's got like 30 other dudes up on stage with him. A lot happening. Got there, at 10 p.m., waited for 3 hours, and then, it wasn't, I paid $60 and, didn't have $60 worth of fun.
So you did not get your money's worth. Well, Skip, I know we've talked about, Doug, was that too late for you? Was it past your bedtime, wasn't it?
I mean, yes.
That was way past Doug's bedtime. Doug, bedtime. It is at 10.
Well, we better hurry this up then. We're actually recording this here on Monday night. It's almost 10 o'clock, so I don't want to get past Doug's bedtime. I know you got a busy day tomorrow. Guys, we've had a lot of moves for football here in the last, 2 weeks now. We've had, we didn't get a chance to talk about, Isaiah Ford is now officially going to the draft. Gerard Evans leaving for the draft. Bucky Hodge is going for the draft. We've had all kinds of QB moves. We've added some quarterbacks now. We've got A.J. Bush, left-hander, coming in. Actually, Will Signs, he's at Virginia Tech right now. He started class this week. Ryan Willis, who I got to meet both these guys in person over the weekend, but Ryan Willis, he's going to transferred in from Kansas. He started most of 2015, lost the job this past season. He's going to come in and walk on. Met him and his parents. There's a lot going on. Doug, with all these moves in football, what stands out to you?
I think all eyes are once again on the quarterback, situation with, Evans leaving a year earlier than it was expected. It kind of, now you're going to have, redshirt freshman, a true freshman. They talked about getting Bush to come and compete, see what he can do, and then Willis from Kansas transfers in. So, going to be a lot of uncertainty there from between now and September.
Skip, what's your thoughts on the quarterback competition? I mean, I guess it'll still be between Bush and Jackson since Willis is going to have to redshirt this year since he transferred. But where do you think it kind of stands overall?
I mean, it's still up in the air right now. We're back to where square one like we were last year. It was unsure Motley or Evans was which one was going to play. Kind of in the same boat with these new guys coming in. So we'll see it on spring and see who take it away during the season. So
I don't. Either one of you guys probably know. Am I missing something? Has there been another left-handed quarterback here since number 7? I don't know if I want to say his name, but has there been another left-hander since? I can't think of one.
I don't think so.
Does Andrew Ford count?
Andrew Ford. Okay, so this is second left-handed quarterback now, I guess.
But he counts.
He was here.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, he never played. So.
Right. Well, now, doing dirty up at UMass now. So.
Yep, Leffler's got something to hang his hat on.
So, Skip, we still haven't really seen Josh Jackson. We got a little bit of a glimpse of him at spring practice last year. Saw him a little bit, I guess, the scrimmages in fall camp, the ones that were open. Do you have confidence he could be the guy, or do we need to get a guy like A.J. Bush in here for competition?
Oh, yeah, definitely the competition. We just need, all these guys are going to be new to the system. So, I mean, even the guys the guy that's been there for a while, they're still going to be new because to get the amount of reps as, at the starter would get, getting experience, seeing different types of letter coverages and stuff like that. It's always good to have competition, and they're the best one that will play, and we'll see how it turns out. But we still have a long way to go. You probably won't know nothing until in August, just like that was last year. So I wouldn't expect too much from the spring coming up. Just more evaluation and just guys getting a lot of reps and stuff. So
Doug, I don't know. Is it purely between Josh Jackson and Bush? And we didn't even mention Hendon Hooker. He's coming in here early. He's enrolling and during the spring. I mean, that was only as of a couple weeks ago. Does he have a shot at all in this thing, or do you think it's purely between Bush and Josh Jackson?
Yeah, I think he definitely has a shot. I know the coaching and everybody up at Tech is obviously very, very high on Hooker, but I also and to an extent Twente kind of proved that he's willing to look at a true freshman option last year when he kept Josh Jackson involved right up until before the season. So we'll see. I think him obviously coming in for the spring ball gives him a much better chance than in August, right? And trying to do everything in a month, but we'll see. It just seems like the ideal situation is for him to redshirt and for Jackson to win the job, and then Bush can be the backup.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, there's just so much. I mean, as we've talked about it here before, guys. I mean, I don't think there was ever really that much competition in the fall, as much as Fuente wanted to make it out to be. I think Evans was probably the guy from the beginning. But I don't know. Skip, how much is that going to help Jackson having gone through that competition between Motley and Gerard?
Help him a little bit because he's more familiar with the playbook, but he's still new coming in. A lot of pressure on his shoulders to play well and try to gain a starting spot. So I mean, just time will tell. Experience will see how he does. Being there another year, so we'll see. I mean, it's just hard to tell with quarterbacks. It's still early. So we'll see. See how it plays out.
Yeah, it'll definitely make for an interesting spring practice and fall camp. I mean, I really think this thing could go right up to we may be game time before West Virginia, Labor Day weekend before we even know who it's going to be. So I think it's got a long way to go. Still haven't always seen that much of Bush or Jackson. These guys both are very, very unproven. So either way, it's going to be a very, very unproven guy leading the way at quarterback. But at the same time, I will say that we had a couple guys transfer out. We knew there were going to be some. We know there's probably going to be some more, so we're kind of waiting to see as school starts tomorrow, kind of who's going to be on the roster, who's not. But Achille Mackenzie, Seth Dooley transfer, or Seth actually, I guess, is staying at Virginia Tech, but he's not going to play next year. Achille Mackenzie's transferring. But Doug, I mean, both of those guys leaving. Any surprise with either one of them, or is that a big loss you feel like for either guy?
Not a huge surprise. Particularly Mackenzie, doing his.
I think Shaw was like the worst kept secret, wasn't it?
Yeah,
we all kind of know he was leaving.
In the works, and Dooley obviously is about to graduate or close to graduate, and then after 4 years, he still wasn't, a huge factor on the depth chart. So, I'm not surprised by either of them, based on Shy's Twitter game and where Dooley was, where Dooley was on the depth chart. I think it makes sense in both cases.
Skip, any surprise with Mackenzie or Dooley, either one?
Not really. I mean, Seth is a good kid, good guy. But never really made an impact on the field. But with Shy, I mean, not really. I mean, he wants to play, and if he, feels the best way for him to play is transfer to another school. I mean, that's good for him. He graduated, right?
Yeah, Dooley graduated last spring, I think.
No, I'm talking about
Shy.
Yeah.
Shy, I don't know, Doug. Has he graduated yet? I don't think he has. I think he's still got a little bit of time before he graduates. He's a red shirt. He's our only red shirt sophomore. But yeah, I don't believe he's graduated yet. I would have been 3 years.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought okay. Well, I mean, he's transferred. I guess he's wants to play, and he feels the best way to get a lot of playing time or get more playing time with the transfer. So, best wishes for him. But it's not a surprise to me. Guys, make decisions. It just depends on the situation. So, yeah.
Well, and I will say, guys, we're a little late in doing this, but I do want to talk a little bit about just kind of putting a bow on the 2016 season. The final AP poll came out last week. Virginia Tech finished 16th, I believe it was, and that's the highest I know they've been since 2010. Doug, any thoughts about that finish? About what you thought?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I think a 10-win team, and closed it with a ball win. I don't really know what to make of end of season rankings, but seemed like a good spot. I think they were pretty much right around there most of the year, pretty much if you think about it.
All right, Skip, is 16, I guess, ranking wise, is it about where you thought to finish?
I mean, honestly, it doesn't really mean anything. I mean, the only thing it does is help recruiting up. We're number 16 in the country, and we're coming up from last year, this and that, all this other stuff. All it does is sell recruits. But other than that, I mean, this means nothing. So
but that's big, Skip. Just like you mentioned for recruiting. I mean, they are doing pretty well in recruiting right now. So I got to think it does help some. Wouldn't you think?
I mean, yeah, it helps us in trying to get players in, but as far as like the actual team, it's like, yeah, it was number 16. Then we got 2 wins. Yeah, it was at the ACC championship, but we didn't win. It's like, okay, yeah, 16. It's good, but we want to get get those rings and be able to play for the big game. That's the most important thing. But being number 16 is better than being number 30. So I mean, but it doesn't really mean anything. I mean, it's just for recruiting and stuff for coaches to post online and say, oh yeah, we number 16. This is good recruiting stuff.
Now, we'll say, Doug, I mean, this was like, I think the minute the national championship was over, everybody started putting out these way too early top 25s for next year. And there is so much that can happen. We haven't even gotten to signing day yet. There is so much that can happen. But I will say, that first AP poll, I mean, it's always pretty big to start getting some recognition, I think, going now, some kind of, drumming up some support. Because that first poll, if you're not in the first poll, it is unbelievably hard to pass all these teams and get the recognition to get up in the playoffs. So I will say, there's a lot of them out there. Of course, for our purposes, I want to talk about Scout, our friends at Scout.com, the guys who come up with this poll. They've got Virginia Tech 21st. And so, I know it's not very high, but it would be higher than they started out last year. I mean, they weren't even ranked to start the year. They've got, Louisville, as far as ACC teams, Louisville 19th, Miami 16th, Let's see, Florida State 6, Clemson 5. Again, it's way too early, but is 21st, as of right now, would that be a good spot to start?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, based on what they lost there at the end is between Evans and Ford and Bucky. I think 25 is or in the 20s is probably appropriate, and I think Fuente gets a lot of credit for the job he did this year, and that keeps them, gives them a little respect by keeping them in the top 25 after losing, 3 very, very important players on offense. So, I think that's appropriate, and ESPN has a lot to do with that preseason hype and all that stuff. And they still have the West Virginia game there to open next year. So, I think they'd like having 2 ranked teams probably going into that one.
Well, Skip, you've already told us your thoughts on these polls. How so I know I don't think you're looking a lot into this, but is it important for them to start off at least now, kind of already getting some hype going into next year?
I mean, I guess so. Since you said the top 25 is hard to make the championship, I mean, yeah, 21 is not bad, but we still have a long time before September comes. So
it's a long way till September comes.
Yeah, it's a long way. So the first poll.
7.5 months.
So okay, so first poll out. What are they gonna do for next year? Like, just gives people something to talk about, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
it gives us something to talk about since we're talking about it.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. I mean, and I'm looking, at least, this is Scouts rankings. We've got West Virginia 23rd, so that's who they open up with, got them higher. Obviously the big game next year will be getting the defending champs, get Clemson at home. Clemson's number 5 to start. I mean, it seems like they're still going to be top 10, I think probably by anybody, any rankings. I mean, I would expect them to, I don't know, Doug. I mean, I think probably, I know they lose Deshaun Watson, they lose a few pieces, but probably going to still be the favorite to win the ACC, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, between them and obviously Florida State's off, and
right.
Louisville's got Lamar Jackson coming back, so I think those 3. But Clemson's recruited really well for the last 5 years, so they're certainly not short on talent. So yeah, I think they'll be the favorite, either them or Florida State, and then Louisville will get a lot of hype with Lamar coming back.
Yeah, ACC having 5 teams to start out. At least, again, this is right now. It's only one projection. We'll see so many, and we'll talk about this so much throughout the next 7.5 months. We're gonna have plenty of time to talk about the poll and where they should start and where they're gonna be, all that good stuff. But we mentioned we're putting on these polls. We're not even the signing day yet, although signing day we're coming up on 2 weeks away. So very, very close. Shaping up to be a pretty good, pretty good class for Virginia Tech so far. We've still got some big fish out there. The biggest being Devon Hunter. He's announced he's going to make his decision. He's going to announce it on Saturday night. Or is it Saturday? I guess it's Friday night. Yeah, Friday night at the Indian River basketball game. He's going to do it at halftime. He went to Florida this past weekend. He's been to Virginia Tech. He's been to North Carolina. Doug, how are you feeling about this guy right now?
Pretty good. I think there's been a lot of Virginia Tech buzz for a year now, I guess.
Been a lot.
I think they've kind of been that team that other teams have tried to knock off the top of the mountain. I think Tech kind of battled through everything so far. So, I think obviously the last couple weeks is when the crazy stuff starts to happen, and you can never be sure when you got Auburn and Alabama and Florida and North Carolina snooping around. So right now I think the Tech's in good shape, and I think him not waiting until signing day is probably a good sign that pretty stable in Virginia Tech's corner right now, it seems like.
Yeah, so many of these guys always want to wait until signing day, and I can tell you as a coach, that's the last thing you want. You don't want to be on pins and needles. You want to have your class already put to bed. You want to be working on 2018 even more, not have to worry about this class. So they've got a few pieces. We're looking at, I mean, as of right now, we're talking 6 commits is kind of what we're looking at least space. They've got about 6 spots left. But, Skip, I mean, Devon Hunter, I mean, he's number 5 in the country according to Scout. He'd be, I know, the biggest since Kendall Fuller, one of the biggest recruits all time for Virginia Tech if they can get him. How important is it that they need to keep this guy, especially being an in-state guy, on top of everything?
Well, there's nothing really they can do. He has to make his decision. But, I mean, what he pick, he pick. Only good for us to get him, but, you know, you never know with, you know, guy has to away, where he's going to pick, where he's going to choose. And, you know, he can say, yeah, I'm coming to you Friday. You know, Fridays, I'm coming to you. The next day, no, I'm going to Florida. The coach from Florida, he made me change my mind. The next day, I'm not going back. It's you know, until you sign the papers and, you know, it's official, it's up in the air. So, it'd be good to get him, but, you know, you never know until another guy signs the paper. So, at this point, it's really nothing the coach you can do. You know, since it's so close, you can call the kid, you know, call him up again and, you know, say, yeah, you know, we really like you, this and that. But he already knows pretty much everything he needs to know about the school. And he probably, you know, already knows where he wants to go to school at. So
I think he probably does.
So you're just trying to, you know, pass the time out, to get the hype up and stuff like that. But at this point, 2 weeks away, he pretty much knows where he wants to go. So we'll see.
Well, Doug, even besides, you know, Hunter, we've got some big fish still out there. We talked about, you've got Tywan Garbett. You've got, you know, Skip's guy, Mekhi Becton, who I'll ask him about here in a minute. But we've got Latavius Brainy kind of new to the mix here, a recent offer of the last few weeks. He's going to take an official coming up. Victor DeMcKeeji, you got Daz Newsome. They got some big guys out there, but, I mean, how are you feeling, I guess, about where they stand right now? I guess, do you expect them to land, you know, the majority of these guys and finish strong?
That's the $1 million question right now.
I know. No, sir. I'm going to ask you to look at your crystal ball here.
Yeah. So I mean, Garbage sounds like it's going well, but you know, you've been Tech and Pitt for the last half a year basically. Maybe it's longer than that, but you know, so you can never be sure. But you know, they got two more visit weekends, basically the 20th and the 27th to get the guys on campus, and that's when you're really going to make a big push. So you know, you can never be sure with the way Tech has closed on, you know, big recruits over the last, I don't know however many years. You know, it doesn't seem like it goes well for them for the most part. So we'll see if they can close on particularly some of these higher rated guys like Garbett. I think the group that is most interesting is definitely defensive end, with all the names that are kind of popping up and going to be making a decision between Proctor and, you know, Brad Johnson and Garbett and Tim E.G., however you say his name. So that'll be interesting to see kind of if the boat gets too full, or, you know, they're just going to start taking everybody too, or we'll see.
Well, and I mentioned on the you know, the message board and our war room and insider posts, I mean, they're going to oversign. We're talking about at least 2 guys that aren't going to qualify. So I would expect them to take, you're looking at a class of about 27, technically. I mean, it'll only be 25 because it'll work itself out because of guys not qualifying. But I tell you, Skip, Doug's being a skeptic, man. Are you positive? I mean, how's Well, again, first of all, are you positive, or are you feeling good about kind of where they are recruiting wise?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I mean, I feel like we got some good recruits coming in. Hopefully some other guys choose to come to Virginia Tech. But right now I feel pretty, comfortable where we at recruiting wise. We got some quarterbacks coming in, and I think that's the biggest thing we need, quarterback. Because if you don't have a quarterback, then your team's going to struggle pretty much.
So, and second, Skip, I mean, how's our boy Mekhi Becton doing? Has he come to you for any advice?
He asked questions about, recruiting or, how it's going to play in college, or the difference between college and NFL, stuff like that. But, he has a good sports system around him, and he can make the best choice. He feels like he make the best decision that he feels is, I'm not trying to say it. He's going to make the best decision for him. And, if he comes to Tech, that's great. If he chooses to go somewhere else, then that's good for him. He's going to be a good player. So wherever he goes, he's going to have a good guy and a good player.
So Mekhi is slated to officially visit Virginia Tech this coming weekend. I know he just got through visiting Louisville. He's already been in Michigan. He's going to go out to Oregon on the 27th. So he's got a few, involved there. I guess it's really those four, and then UVA, of course, where he's been to a couple times. So I don't know if UVA is probably not going to get an official visit. He can run over there anytime, but got a lot there. But guys, I was going to ask you, Doug. We're kind of waiting to see with 2017. We'll be following all these guys coming up. We're already getting into 2018, 2019 guys. So Virginia Tech had a big junior day over the weekend. This is by far the earliest they've ever had a junior day. I don't know, how important do you feel like it is to get in on these guys kind of early? I mean, what did you think about the junior day and them having a junior day this early?
I think it's huge. I mean, I think we talk a lot about how important getting people actually on campus is, and I think as early as you can get it. I mean, recruiting such a it's not just recruiting guys from February through the next February. It's a 2 or 3 year process in terms of the relationship starting as a freshman or a sophomore, so that by the time you're a senior and they have those 5 official visits, you can hope to close with one of those. So, I think Fuente, we talked a lot about how he kind of had to hit the ground running with his class and last year's 1 month class basically. But I think now we're getting into the 2018, 2019 guys that he's had a year plus as the Virginia Tech head coach to build that relationship. So we'll see how he can do kind of with on a level playing field. I think compared to recruiting against a guy who's been in the school for a while already.
So guys, let's finish up here with let's get to some basketball. It's been kind of a rough stretch here the last few games. Virginia Tech did get the win at home against Syracuse, but 2-3 right now to start ACC play. They do have the win over Duke and Syracuse, but they got crushed at NC State, crushed at Florida State. Couldn't come back with Notre Dame. Skip, how much basketball have you watched so far this year? What do you think about them?
Not much, honestly. We beat Duke and Syracuse, but it kind of fell off these other losses. But hopefully we can pick it up and turn it back around and keep the ship sailing in the right direction. But the Duke win was pretty big. That's a positive.
Doug, it's just they're so up and down right now. Honestly, I think they could use Skip out there in the post, and they got no post play right now.
Man, post play. Big, it's key.
I got asked today though, Doug, and I think it's a really good question. How good is this team? I mean, do we really have a sense of how good this team is? I feel like we're getting both ends of the spectrum. It's hard to really figure out where they are in the middle or if they're on one end. How good do you think they really are?
Yeah, I think they're the glaring hole is obviously not having a lot of depth at center, and that Blackshear injury, that kind of feels like they're
it's a killer, isn't it?
Player, like they were one player short from being a really, really good team. I mean, I think they're one player short from that just really limits them and how they play. I mean, they basically, I think you saw that against Florida State and NC State, when they're not playing pretty much perfect offense, they just don't have enough size and length and rebounding inside to spend for 40 minutes. So unless they're like playing lights out like they did against Duke, I think it's going to be tough for them to really withstand anything. But when they're playing well, I mean, they're top 7. I think between Robinson, Allen, Bibbs, Hill, Clark, Leday, and I'm missing one.
Bibbs.
I think their top 7 are obviously good enough to play with basically anybody. I mean, I think when they're playing really well, they can win just about any game, but they just don't have enough depth at center and not enough bench depth in general to be able to play less than their A game and expect to win.
It really is just such a shame. I mean, they've got every other piece there, and then if they had Blackshear, it's unbelievable to think how different things could be if they had him out there. But Skip, are you sure you don't have any eligibility left? Can you get in there?
I don't, man. I don't have any, eligibility. If they want to pay me to become coach, man, I'm all for it,
Big man coach?
Big man coach, man. I can teach you guys how to post up and show you some jump hooks and stuff. And, get you a post game, man. Every good team has a strong post, not really a post game, but somebody who can grab some rebounds and just play big inside. I don't think we have that right now. We have a lot of 4s playing 5s and 3s playing 4s. It's kind of undersized, so I don't know, man. You really get some guys that's 6'10", 6'11", some big guys in there, just 7 feet maybe. At least some guys that's 6'9" and a half and athletic and jump and run, so something like that. Then we'll be all right, but until then, it's gonna keep getting beat in the paint. So,
well, I know we're going to talk a lot more about basketball in the next few weeks. They got a pretty rough stretch coming up. I think it's really going to make or break them. Georgia Tech at home, but then they got to go at Clemson, at Carolina, at Miami, at UVA. Pretty good rough stretch. So I think we're going to really find out just how good this team is. If they can win any of those, steal 1 or 2 on the road.
Yeah, the first 2 road games didn't go great. But winning on the road is just going to be so tough in the ACC, and pretty much have to go. I think they're going to have to get the 10 ACC wins to get in the tournament, and pretty much have to win out at home, and then maybe go something like 7-2 at home, and then steal 3 games on the road somewhere. So we'll see. Yeah.
It'll definitely have to steal 1 or 2, though. They're just going to have to.
Yeah, but the first 2 games didn't go super on the road.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they can rebound. So, Doug, let's send it off here, man. You got any shout-outs this week?
Shout-out.
I know you're not shouting out Fetty Wap. I will say that.
No. Definitely not. I'll shout out Clemson for for winning it all. It was a great game and a lot of back and forth. That's what you want out of a championship game, and then Watson makes the big play. That was a good game to watch, despite it being 4.5 hours.
Well, I've got to shout out NFL playoffs, man. Especially these games here on Sunday. 2 really, really good games to finish out. They were kind of duds last week. I think we all kind of wanted them to be good, but they really weren't that good. So it was good to finally see, at least a couple of good games. Aaron Rodgers, man, I don't know. That guy should be MVP. I don't know how you can't make him MVP.
He's crazy.
Pretty crazy. Yeah, the play that last throw he made, and I don't know, just the composure. He makes so many plays nobody else can make. Unbelievable. Skip, who you shouting out?
Shout out Doug for going to a Fetty Wap concert, man.
Yeah.
Doug going to a Fetty Wap concert. I think that deserves a shout out.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That deserves my shout out for the week.
Was it in like a club or something, Doug, or was it wasn't in Verizon, was it?
No. It was like I guess it was a club, basically. It was a big warehouse with a stage in it, basically.
Big warehouse,
Man.
okay.
Went to a club with Fetty Wap club.
We returned. Yeah, we were turning up.
Oh, y'all was turning that job. That was turnt. 17, 38. Doug is turning that Fetty Wap concert. You know, Doug, listen to Fetty Wap.
I know, I had no idea. Did you, Skip?
I did not. I didn't know.
He showed us a different side of himself. That's for sure.
He did. I was like, okay, Doug got some turn to him. He, you know. I didn't know, Doug. You surprised me there, man.
Well, the man of many surprises is Mr. Doug Bowman. Guys, I guess that'll wrap us up here for this week. Again, I want to apologize for not having one last week, but we're back on schedule now. We're going to have this kind of a special Martin Luther King Day podcast, and we're doing this a little bit later than we normally come out on Monday, but I figured it'd probably be better to put it out on Tuesday, so I'll get everybody back to the normal schedule. But we'll be back on our normal schedule next week. So for Doug, a man of many personalities, Bowman, Derrick, Skip, Hopkins, I'm Jason Stamm. Thank you for checking us out, and we'll see you back here next week.